Welcome back. We are continuing with White Lies, How the South Lost the Civil War, then Rewrote the History by Ann Bausum. Lie number 5. Confederate soldiers were not rebels. The United States and the Confederacy used various names to describe the conflict between 1861 and 1865, including the U.S. government label of the War of the Rebellion. One term used in the Confederacy was the War for Southern Independence. This phrase echoed language associated with the American Revolutionary War, which is also called the American War of Independence. By labeling their fight as one for independence, Confederates implied that they were rebelling out of necessity, just as colonists had rebelled against the British. During the war, they embraced their designation as rebels because it suggested they too were engaged in the worthy fight of defending their new country after it had been invaded by U.S. forces. But after the South's defeat, former Confederates showed less interest in being viewed as rebels engaged in a fight for independence. The words was too closely associated with traitor. It also seemed to admit that Southerners had acted illegally by ceding, which most legal scholars agree they had, in the same way that Southern whites began to claim after the war that Confederates had been fighting to defend the U.S. Constitution, not slavery. They insisted that their actions were those not of rebels, but of Confederate patriots. As one aging Confederate veteran in Texas put it in 1894, if secession was right, we were not rebels. If it was wrong, then we were. That is lie number 5. Confederate soldiers were not rebels.